Welcome everyone, Coach K here. How's everyone doing? Hope everyone's having a great day. Let's get started on what's going on in cryptocurrency, and do feel free to click that like, subscribe, share button, show your support, and say hi if you're watching. How's it going, Steven in the UK? What's up, brother? Hope you're having a great day. If you're on Facebook, just say hello. Dino, how's it going? And yeah, let's get started, see what's going on in the world of crypto. How's it going, Greenflow and Neil? It's great seeing everyone here. So right now is Binance week in Singapore. There's a Binance hackathon, and at the Binance week in Singapore, CZ from Binance basically said that we are overshooting the lower side of Bitcoin now. So he thinks that last year, what he's saying in this article, that last year we overshot the price side on the upper levels, obviously, as we had a huge rush of people jumping in. And so now what's happening is we have had a really long bear market. He says it's one of the he thinks it's the longest, but it's not. It's almost the longest. And yeah, basically he thinks we're overshooting the bottom now. So it's only a matter of time before we move back up. How's it going, Lily? Nice to see you. Dino and Neil, nice to see you guys on Facebook there. So what all he's trying to say here is he thinks that like we've really overshot the top, and now we're kind of overshooting the bottom, and it's only a matter of time before we have a movement back up. We all know we're starting to see alts kind of wake up a little bit over the last couple weeks. I know I've seen a lot of great results from the alt market. Bitcoin's kind of been sideways and a little bit down, but the alt market's kind of been steady. So that's something to just take note of right now, and also know that if the alt market is seeing a bottom potentially, then we could see other things moving upwards eventually soon after. So any questions about that, guys? I'd love to hear what you guys think. All right, so moving on, Tron CEO, he wants to prove, Justin Sun, even though a lot of people don't like him, some people love him, that crypto actually is not a scam. Good morning, Mike. Nice to see you there, buddy. And so he hired an actual former SEC official. So basically, in this article, what he's saying is that he fully wants to embrace regulation, and he's really optimistic that you know, they can work with governments, and basically full-on regulation will happen, and they totally want it to, and they want to work with the SEC, not just in the United States, but all over the world, in China and in other parts, you know, basically worldwide eventually. How's it going, Delton? Nice to see you, brother. So he was with him over with Kobe Bryant. Took a really funny picture with him with a Tron bear with a Lakers jersey on it. But basically, all this comes down to Tron is really doing a lot of stuff. I told you guys it's a 10-year project, long term, and I still believe that very much so. It's going to move eventually, and it's because a lot of developments being done on their DApp side. They also have had a lot of games being developed now, and of course, like EOS, they're going to have gambling apps and stuff like that built on as well. So their DApp game is probably going to increase a lot, which is great for them, and probably great for the industry as well. So the former BitTorrent exec torches you know, Tron, and says their blockchain can't, you know, keep up, and it's plagiarized, blah blah. I think this is just kind of silly, really, and honestly, it's really kind of, it's just he sounds like someone who's bitter. Really, that's what it sounds like. And he said that like Tron is gonna really give gaming control to the players, and they're really gonna love it, and we're gonna develop really cool dApps, and that's what's gonna help Tron push forward. Hi Fami, how's it going? Hope you're having a great day. So in Wyoming, in the United States, I know my company Blocktraders that I'm partnered with, we have obviously made a company, and it's crypto based, and it's also capital market based, but they're going to legalize Bitcoin as money there. They're trying to push for that, and they're going to try and classify cryptocurrencies as securities, assets, and currency. And Caitlin Long in this article, which you can find on Bitcoinist, basically breaks down that under you basically can give legal clarity regarding the status of digital assets and how lenders can enforce liens on them. So good financialization of them, and Bitcoin and other virtual currencies are subject to the same super negotiability rules as money. So it's interesting that they could do that. The treatment solves some of the Bitcoin's Achilles heel, that old liens may pop up years later and hurt owners. The bill proposes that liens expire after 2 years, and that's huge. To reason store coins in a Wyoming custodian. So they're trying to make it really simplified to use Wyoming as a place to store your cryptocurrencies, and a place that you're not gonna, you know, all of a sudden have your cryptocurrencies taken from you, from the government, for example. So they want to have good cryptocurrency custody, which is obviously important to you and to me, because I want my cryptocurrencies to be safe, and I'm sure all you guys do as well. So this is kind of really big, and I think if Wyoming can pass this type of legislation, that I think it will have a spiral effect into other places as well. How's it going, Ross? Nice to see you, brother. And so because it's going to spiral effect, because they already have, Wyoming also has blockchain related legislation as well. It can have a spiral effect in terms of, if they do it and do it well, I think other states will also adopt this model, and other countries eventually will adopt similar types of models as well, because they have to see it work first. Because that's the thing, a lot of these countries are kind of scared because they want to see something work before they implement it. To change the infrastructure of your whole company or whole country of how you do things, it's very costly. So they want to see some guinea pigs, right? And so I think a lot of the countries in the world are waiting for and looking for someone to do something great. So moving on, this is kind of one of those things where it could be a scam, or it could just be the fact that someone lied about their education. And some other really shady stuff that's going on that I've read about, and you can read about this too as well. So Apollo is a cryptocurrency that I know a lot of people like. I know a lot of people that I'm friends with hold it and really think it's a really great cryptocurrency. I don't personally hold it, but I've heard really good things, but I never got to the point where I was going to personally invest in that cryptocurrency. But now there's really big allegations against Apollo cryptocurrency. They spiked volume really fast, and they're saying that the CEO and other people inside of the company pumped up the cryptocurrency and are now dumping the cryptocurrency, their own cryptocurrency, their own supply. So they did have John McAfee, which was endorsing them, which is obviously another thing that's not reliable. And if you go on this Reddit feed right here, you can actually read about how he talks about how the CEO is dumping, how the founder, he took a screenshot of his LinkedIn, and it said he had a bachelor degree from 2 universities. And actually, when he went on and addressed that, his LinkedIn showed that he didn't have bachelor degrees. He just went to the universities for a year or two. And this guy basically exposed him, and he was like, I never said that I had a bachelor degree. And he literally took the screenshot and was like, boom, look at that. So that's also one really big thing. And another really big thing that they were talking about is the Telegram group. So a lot of people were saying it's up 400%, I'm going to take profit, and they were kicked out of the group. Some people were questioning what's going on with Apollo, they were kicked out of the group. Some people were saying Apollo's not that much better than NXT, it's a little couple lines different, there's not that much greater than NXT, and they were kicked out of the group. So that's also something suspect, obviously. I would ask questions about it, but in the end of the day, that doesn't mean that anyone's done something horrible. Maybe the guy just felt ashamed he didn't get his degrees, I don't know. But that is suspect when you're the CEO and you don't even have a degree, and you said you had them and maybe you never did. That's suspect for sure. But is Apollo Currency as a company suspect? I don't know. But this is, I wouldn't necessarily label this as a scam or label this as FUD. I would label this as keep doing more digging and research, which I will also do, to let you guys know what the heck is going on with Apollo and is it a scam or not. But go read this guy's Reddit feed. It's really, really interesting. Just look up Reddit Apollo on Google and you'll find it really quickly. It is a really interesting breakdown. The guy breaks it down really nicely, and you don't know for sure if it's a scam, but it's really something that perked my ears up for sure when I saw this. Another really interesting thing, which I have literally no I don't feel bad for these people at all. So 2 former executives were actually given jail time because they were wash trading. They were basically faking volume on their cryptocurrency exchange. So this happened, and the sentence basically was for 2 executives from the Comid exchange, the cryptocurrency exchange Comid. Troy, the CEO, received a 3-year sentence, and Park received a 2-year sentence for orchestrating fraudulent trading volume. The pair allegedly set up 5 accounts fabricating 5 million transactions, which amounted to $45 million in fees. A bot was used to create large orders, which basically made their exchange look like they had a lot of trades on it that they didn't. Okay, and this is kind of what market making bots do, guys, and I'm gonna make a video for this for the Blocktraders group about how market making bots work and how they can fake you out and what to look for and stuff like that. But yeah, market making bots do kind of buy and sell on both sides of the order book to always have liquidity, so keep that in mind. So the problem of wash trading. So wash trading is basically a process where you're faking transactions on both sides of the order book, okay, to make it seem like investors should get in because there's volume and stuff like that that actually isn't there. So the money being made from this, it's large. You make a lot of money, and basically wash trading is really illegal. And automated bots are what market making bots are basically what this is. And they're saying that 80% of the pairs on 95% of the exchanges are all just fake volume. So that's really something to keep in mind too, that you should use some really trusted big exchanges, not some little guys. And wash trading on the industry obviously hurts customers, makes people want to leave the market, crushes their pocketbooks if they don't get out, and they hold the whole way down. And everyone's been a victim of that. Even people that I know that have held since a few years back, they're feeling like, oh man, I should have sold the tops. Like, whatever, man, like they know they're gonna come back. So but the whole point is, yeah, wash trading is bad for the industry, and it's never going to be good. So one thing that's really interesting that I came upon before I leave you guys is $3.2 trillion of Bitcoin payments were actually processed in 2018. So it's not a little bit of money. It's quite a fair bit for a very small growing industry. That's something also to keep in mind, right? So is cryptocurrency a better version of gold? Well, that's really a highly debatable subject, right? Is it a more efficient version of gold? Potentially, because obviously it's easier to move, right? If I want to go to my bank and get my gold, I have to carry bars of gold out of the bank. And that's really, really not something that's easy to do. But if I go to the vault and get my ledger and, transfer, Bitcoin on my ledger and then leave the bank, yeah, that's much more efficient because I could bring that anywhere without having to do a lot of work. So that's something also to think about. It's not going to, for example, replace gold, but it's also a lot cheaper to send a Bitcoin transaction than to send an armored truck to send you your gold too. So these are all things to keep in mind. And also in November of 2018, they sent $600 million of Bitcoin for $7, sorry. So that's also, people think it's really expensive, but it's really not that bad, okay? So Bitcoin, I don't think yet, because of adoption rates, we're at the point where we could say something like, okay, Bitcoin, for sure, without a reasonable doubt, I am convinced is better than gold. What I can say is, as adoption grows, more and more people will agree with the statement of Bitcoin is better than gold, because they'll be able to see the valid use case and ease of access and movability and speed, all these different factors to move your actual capital, right? So that's something also to keep in mind. You'd want to spread that capital. You wouldn't want to carry a ledger with like $1 million of Bitcoin on it, for example, but it's something that's really interesting. We could maybe transfer money on our phone, things like that in the future. So as we use it more, I definitely think that it'll be a better transfer of gold. And as we use Bitcoin more and it's more of a store of value over time, people will, hold it They won't really use Bitcoin, I don't believe, every single day of the you know, of the year, unless they're buying something very valuable like a house or a car. That's when people will probably use Bitcoin. For the most part, I think people will store Bitcoin as a store of value in the future as something, you know, that maybe you could trade for a currency that you will spend, you know, as you go about your day. I really believe that's where the world's going. I think that, you know, we're not going to really price things in Satoshis because Bitcoin moves up and down, and it's really something that people wouldn't want to spend every day with it changing all the time, unless they bought in really cheap, obviously. So I think what will happen is you'll hold Bitcoin or other coins, for example, as a store of value, or like get paid in Bitcoin, for example, and then there'll be stable coins or something that you'll use for payment processing and things like that. And other technologies that you'll use that make things faster and cheaper and easier, right? So I don't think that, you know, people think that, you know, all these ICOs were the future. I think that some of them are, and they will do very well. I think that most of them are not going to do very well, and some of them already, you can see, are packing up shop. So that's one thing to also keep notice. Last thing I want to talk about, guys, it's something that's really important to know, okay? And I talk about it all the time, and I think that it's something that we all should look at and as an opportunity, you know, and that's something that I want all you guys to do right now. So let's look at ETH. Now, looking at ETH right here, what I can see and tell you, I could draw some lines with support and resistance, but here's what I want to show you guys. Let's go to the 4-hour and look at December 18th. So December 18th, Vitalik comes out and he says, hey guys, I am going to do the Constantinople hard fork. It goes up until the date of December 24th. The Constantinople hard fork was supposed to be in January, right? So if you bought and sold here, you know, it would have been a nice profit, and you could have been happy about your day, and then seen it retrace, you know, and then, you know, gone on the second leg and then got out before, oops, we're not gonna be able to do this hard fork. Okay, so well, here's the thing, we're gonna have another hard fork, right? And so what I want you guys to know is this. What's up, Eric? What I want you guys to know is here, this is the really important factor. We want to see this drop further, and it probably will. And probably at the start of February, somewhere in the start of February around here, it should hit this line of support at you know, around $106 or so. Okay, so when it's around $106, I believe that it potentially, and I'm not giving financial advice here, this is what I'm personally going to do. I'm personally, when it hits that 106, that range, or I'm going to keep my eye on it to make sure if it doesn't hit that, it's going to go up before that, for example, potentially. But if it hits off that range, what I think is going to happen is the start of February, I'll put a buy order around that 106 range, unless it drops further down to this 85. But I don't see it going down that low yet. So if it goes to that 106 range, I'm going to put a buy order at the start of February, and I'm going to hold my ETH until the hard fork's supposed to be on the 28th of February. So I'm going to hold my ETH probably, oh, I moved my my line resistance there, but I'm going to hold my ETH probably until about February 18th or so, maybe February 21st if it's moving up. Okay, so I think it's going to bounce off the 106. This should go back to 106 right over there. Okay, so somewhere around here. So I think it's going to bounce off this. We'll see it move up to the 145 range again, maybe even the 157 resistance, and bounce down back off that. So you'll see that happen, and I'm pretty sure this will happen, and usually does. So just keep your eye on that for ETH, guys, because that's how hard forks work. And if you look at any hard fork, I'm telling you, literally anything, you'll see that. Now, another reason for the ETH hard fork, the really strong movement up earlier, was because there were two scam ETH hard forks that were supposed to happen to give you free coins, and they were asking for private keys and scamming people out of their cryptocurrencies. So guys, if you ever have a question about hard forks or anything like that, please do ask me. All right, let's see, Delton. So nice to look at that chart and totally understand what's going on. Thanks to Mike and Blocktraders community. Yeah, Guys, definitely join Blocktraders community, like and share, subscribe to our community, guys. We're going to do lots of live TA and great stuff for you, so don't miss out on that. We're going to be teaching you guys TA. If you always want to know what the hell is going on with these charts, what all these little red lines and green lines and you know, red and orange and green and purple lines mean, we can teach you that, and we'll help you understand what actually you're looking at on a chart. But what I really suspect to happen, we'll hit around the end of January, start of February, around this 106, 105 range, 107, somewhere in there, and we'll bounce off of there, and we'll start to see growth, maybe even to the 150, 157, maybe potentially higher than that. But I don't really suspect higher than that. I think people want to see how the Continental hard fork actually works out first, and that makes a lot of sense too. So that's what to look for, guys. That's how you play a hard fork. If you go to the NXT IGNES, if you go to the Bitcoin Cash hard fork, you will see if you entered about a month before, the gains are really good. Okay, and if you'd like, just before I go, I can actually show you BCH, BTC, USDC, USDT. Can I show you guys that? The Bitcoin Cash hard fork, USD. I wonder if Coinbase shows the old one or the hard fork. Let's just check that out. Yes. Is that it right there? Yeah, so here it is right here. Sorry, it's on the 4 hours, so it's hard to see. But okay, so I was talking to Mike, and I just want to show you guys this because I know it's a little bit boring to watch, but it's something really interesting to learn about TA and about how fundamentals and TA work together. So I was talking to Mike, it was right around November, and I was telling him, hey man, there's this hard fork coming up. And he was like, really? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, oh, really? I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, this is how they work, right? People buy in and then they dump usually after. And he's like, okay. So here's exactly a head and shoulders pattern and dumped hard. That's pretty funny, actually. But here's really interesting. So we entered around the start of November. I think it was still in the 300 range. So it wasn't maybe 300 or just around 300 or 400. So we enter, and you know, in that short amount of time, it goes up. It was about 50% increased. Okay, so over the course of 7 days. So we entered in, you know, made our profit, got out, and then when it hit that 0.925 range versus BCH Bitcoin, it just dropped like a fly. So you have to learn that you have to get in early, and when it hits that spike and you hit a nice profit range, the most important part that I'm really telling you here is you must learn to control yourself and take profit. If you get something like a 50% gain because you bought into a hard fork with like even let's say $1,000, and you made 50% gain, you made $500 on that 1,000, take your $500 and be happy with it. Don't be silly and try to get like another 150 and lose profit. Okay, so keep that in mind, guys. It's something really important to learn to take profit. Okay, that's how you don't get wrecked. Anyways, have a great day, guys. It's Coach K signing out. I'll see you guys on Friday with Mike on TA Fridays, and Mike should probably see you sometime this week as well for a live TA sesh. Take it easy, guys. Coach K signing out. Oh, and don't forget, guys, support. Show us some support. Hit that subscribe button, that like, that share, that little bell, and we'll see you guys soon. Have a good one.